Wilson Pro Staff version 13, 1820, 95 square inch. I want to do a quick review on this racket, just in case this is helpful to anyone trying to make a decision about this racket. And I want to give you just some of my impressions of the racket, what I like about it, and where I think that it has a lot of merit and maybe some deficiency, because there's no perfect racket, I don't think. But I'll start by saying I love this racket. I think this is a really awesome racket. I am a 4.5 player. I'm 46. I've been playing tennis for a very long time. I play serve and volley, and this rack, I have a one-handed backhand, I should say also. But I mainly hit a slice backhand, which is I've always liked to do, and people hate it, which is why I like it. And this is a great racket for me. And I'm going to explain some of the peculiarities of this racket and who might like it and who might not. Hopefully that will be helpful for some people. So starting off, it's the version 13. The color is awesome. It's got a really cool color scheme. Has like, I can't really see it actually, but the top of this has like a carbon fiber kind of vibe to it, which you can't see this in my video, but the top, in the sunlight, you can see this is all like carbon fiber up here, which is really cool. Beautiful paint on this racket. And I appreciate this little thing there, so that when you're stringing, you can immediately just find the center there. They don't have it on this side because you don't really need it there. This is a four notches in the throat. So if you're stringing this, you're going to string from the top anyway. So 3 notches you string from the bottom, 4 notches you string from the top, just for people who are wondering about that. Anyway, let me unzoom. So I didn't think I was going to like this racket at all, but it's great. This is a great racket. And I'm going to explain why. So first of all, where should I start? Let me start with how heavy this thing is. This racket is heavy. It's not light. For me, it was noticeably heavy, and I was thinking, man, how am I going to play with this? But what it does is, so you have a very dense string pattern here. You have an 1820 string pattern, just super dense, right? This is like a backboard, basically. So the way this racket worked for me is I have to put absolutely no thought into controlling the ball with this. It's like instant automatic control with this frame, which is amazing. So lots of control, effortless control, low launch angle, right? So low launch angle basically means put a little topspin on it, and it's going to go over the net maybe by 5 or 6 feet. You're not going to be hitting like super loopy shots with this. You're going to be hitting, or I was hitting straight, pretty much just straight bullets with this frame, with a little bit of topspin, controlled exactly where I wanted it to go in the court, which is really nice. Now, because it's an 1820, not a lot of power is coming from the string bed, but because it's kind of heavy at, let's say, 331 grams, you get crazy plow through from the frame. Crazy plow through with this thing. Dare I even say pretty decent ball pocketing with this also, even with the 1820 string bed. So plow through because of the heft of the frame, crazy control, and power from the frame, not from the strings, but power from the frame. So what that basically means is, if you're playing with this frame, what I would suggest is you might have to alter your swing a little bit so that you don't have to swing so fast, basically. You can swing a little slower, and you don't want to swing this fast because it's heavy, so you don't want to get tennis elbow from hitting with this. But just so nice to not have to worry about control with this racket. Just effortless control. Great on the serve for me. Great on the first serve, great on the second serve. I would say this is not like one of my top serving rackets ever, but I played a great set with it. I didn't double fault once. I had lots of service winners or like unreturnable serves. Um, it's like I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 for serving. For ground strokes, I give it like 8.5 out of 10. You know, very good on the ground strokes, lots of control, low launch angle. You can hit flat balls easily with this. Volleying, 8.5 out of 10. Easy for volleying. Just keep in mind this frame with the heft, it's not exactly the most it's not the most like light racket really at the net. So, you know, you're gonna have to like really watch for the ball when you're at the net volleying. Really try to anticipate so that you can get the racket into position and just you can just hit amazing volleys with this. Just crisp, um, beam like line drive volleys, you know, and that's just your opponent's nightmare basically. So, but I love volleying. I'm a volleying guy. I love volleying. I think it's just like one of the most beautiful aspects of tennis is the volley. There's so many different ways of handling volleys, and so as for volleying, this is like an 8.5. On the serve, I give it about an 8. Overall, though, I'd rate it like a 9 overall, even if I'm saying it's in the 8s. Overall, it's like a 9 for me. Slice backhand on this is, for me, like a 9, 9.5. This is, for me, this racket was working great on the, so if someone kicks a serve out to my backhand, high backhand, then I was hitting like slices off this, because the launch angle on this racket's already low. My slices were just coming back across the court like I was a slice genius or something. Even my opponent was like, I could tell he was surprised at how well the slices were coming off this frame. But so who's it good for? Someone who wants effortless control and who doesn't mind that the power comes from the frame, the weight of the frame. So you're going to get lots of control from the strings, not a lot of power from the strings. Heavy frame, lots of plow through, which is a weird combination for the modern rackets, because I think a lot of the guys want like light frame, power and spin, you know, but so this isn't really that. This is more like heavy frame, incredible control, reasonably good spin, and massive plow through. So, you know, good for serving, good for volleying. But not super maneuverable at the net either. So I think if you're going to use this racket, you're going to have to make some adjustments. But for me, I've never used a racket that had this much control before. The control in this is just like, it's like next level. So where I am in my game right now is I don't want to think about control anymore. Like I don't even really want to think about power. I just want to think about my strategy. So if I want to hit the ball in the corner, I just want the ball to go in the corner so I can then execute the next part of my strategy for that point. And that's why I like this racket. It's just, if I have a strategy in mind, I can hit the ball where I want to. The ball isn't going to sail long because this has a low launch angle. You know, you could be hitting balls into the net, but just don't do that. Just don't hit it into the net, you know? Just be somewhat mindful with where you're placing the ball. And this is a great racket for like placement, touch, executing a 4-5, 5-0 level strategy. That could be mixing it up with pace, with depth. The only people who are not going to like this racket are people with loopy swings that want to hit like Rafa Nadal topspin every single time. I think this racket is your nightmare. But if you're more like, you like Stefan Edberg, just use him as an example. Stefan Edberg, he was all about it. Like every shot, he was just all about, I'm putting the ball here and then I'm going to do this, you know, like I'm going to put the ball down the line, then I'm coming in. I'm going to put the ball down the middle a couple of times, and then I'm going to wait for an opening, and then I'm going to put the ball cross court, then I'm coming in, you know. It's like, if you have a strategy like that, where like you know ahead of time what you want to do, and you just need to place the ball 3 or 4 times in a row before you come into the net and try to end the point. This racket is just incredible for that, I would say. Just really incredible. if you're at that level and you are playing like that. So I would say if you're a 3.5, don't even bother with this. Although at a 3.5 level, you might like the 100, if there is one, or a 97. But if you're like a 4.0, yeah, you might mess with this racket a little bit. If you're a 4.5, you might really like this. Depends on if you like the 1820, This is a very boring kind of a feel. It's just going to be like same every time, just pretty much goes where you want every time. There's nothing flashy about it. It's a little heavy. So it's kind of like has this boring kind of quality to it, but that's great, like if you just want to execute your game plan over and over again, and boring is good because it means consistency basically. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Amazing paint job on this too. I mean, you can't really see that, but it says Wilson there on the side. And I have this strung up with 16s in the cross, 17 in the main. This is poly in the main, multi-filament in the cross, gamma. This is all gamma strings. And I strung this on that machine, the Gamma Progression, which in and of itself is a really, really cool machine. $310 for that. I've already strung up like maybe 15 rackets, so I've definitely got my money's worth. But anyway, look, you can see some of the carbon fiber aesthetic at the top of the frame. So I didn't think I was going to like this frame, and I just think it's so awesome. Like it's re-energized my game basically. And it's so boring of a racket too. So who would have ever thought, like when I say boring, I mean 1820, not a lot of power, all control, but I love that. I think that's great. So I was ready for something like this. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to put a comment, and I'll write back. And because I don't have a lot of people watching my videos, and yeah, highly recommend for people who are strategists and like want to place the ball and just kind of like inflict pain to the opponent through really like executing a strategy where you come into the net and finish off the point. So heavy, not maneuverable, unless you kind of just are very mindful, and then it's fine. But massive plow through, massive control, great on the volley, great on the serve. May take some getting used to, maybe throw some 18s in there, or all 17s or 17s and 18s and see how that goes for you. But highly recommend ProStef v13. Awesome racket. Too expensive. I wish these were cheaper. I would get like 2 of them. But anyway, that's the deal. So hope you find this useful, and thank you for watching.